Hi everybody, this week is Parshas Toldos. There's a quote I'd like to share from a show called Ted Lasso. It goes like this. I hope that none of us are judged by the actions of our weakest moments, but rather by the strength we show when and if we are given a second chance. In chapter 25, verse 23, the Torah tells us Rivka is pregnant with twins, and it's not an easy pregnancy. And he uses the word v'yitzratzu, which means that there was the struggle inside. Rashi explains that when she would walk by the house of Avodah Zarah, Esav would want to leave the womb. And then when she'd walk by the yeshiva Shem ve'Ever, where Torah was studied, Yaakov would be attracted and want to leave the womb. Yismach Moshe, Rabbi Teitelbaum, asks a very simple question. Why is it fair that we should judge Esav as a rasha and Yaakov as a tzaddik? Even before they were born, they had a proclivity, they had an attraction for their nature. One was a hunter, maybe even a thirst for blood, and one who seemed to be timid, who would be in a tent and study Torah. So why call Yaakov a tzaddik and Esav a rasha? That's how they were born. Can't help it. The Yismach Moshe tells us everybody's born with free choice. And when it comes to Yaakov and Esav, their personalities really meshed. There was a little bit of Yaakov's personality in Esav, and there was a little bit of Esav's personality in Yaakov. Yaakov is called Yaakov because he was holding on to the heel of Esav. And he tried to be a deceiver with Lavan. And he played the role, taking the brachot, again, unwillingly, but taking the brachot from Esav. And Esav. And no one did kivat ava'im better than Esav. The Gemara tells us that. The only difference is which voice, that's conflicting voices that we have in our own heads, in our own minds, in our own hearts, which one do we give way to? Which one do we let come out, manifest itself? And I think that's what the quote is telling us. We all have weak moments. I know I have. And I know I am attracted to do a lot of good things. And I'm also attracted to things that are not so good. And I think we all want to be judged by the moments where we are our best and not when we are weak. And I think that's a great way of looking at Yaakov and Esav. We have a little bit of Yaakov and Esav in all of us. And I think it's very, very true that when we think about people, we should never be a judge. And certainly never to judge people at their weakest moments. Anyway, if you like what you hear, please pass it on. Shabbat Shalom. Please consider hitting the button on the screen and subscribing. Looking forward to it next week. Shabbat Shalom.